Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. This is Harika. So in previous video, we have seen how we can update a particular records in an entity by using update entity record activity, right? So before to that, we have also explored get entity record by ID. So in this video, I'm going to talk about one last entity activity that we have from the data service, which is delete entity record. So I'm going to show you how we can delete a particular record in an entity by using this activity. So first to that, let me get that delete record entity record. Okay. So if I just pull this over here, you can see the properties of this. So it first we have to select the entity type, which we do for all other types of activities that we are doing currently. So here I'm going to select project names, and now I'm going to give the record ID. So we all know how to use this get entity record by ID. So whatever the ID that I'm getting, I'm going to provide the same thing over here. So to get the idea of it, we know what are the values that it is returning. We have seen very clearly in the debug mode in the previous video. So it is this one will give the ID, this particular value, and I'm going to delete that particular record from the project names entity. Okay, so before I do that, do you think this will work? If not, you can just pause the video and you can think if this will work. If not, why it doesn't work. You just try to guess yourself before I execute this and tell you. Okay, so let me just run this, debug this workflow. We'll take step by step approach so that we can understand everything clearly, like what is the output from each activity. Okay, it started execution, and then I just hit continue. Before to that, let me put a breakpoint. Okay, so now what exactly I'm doing, I am taking the updated records here, but before to that, what is there in the record ID? It contains automation anywhere. And what is the record ID? Dot ID. Okay, so this contains this particular record. Let's go and check it over here. This is the one, right? So let's see if this works. Step into. So it has thrown an error because delete entity data failed. The record is still referenced by other record, correct? Because we all know this is of type relationship. So we have a relationship between the project names and also this is the same example that I'm using from the beginning. So the employee details and the project name, the fields are in relationship. So now let's try to reciprocate whatever we have done for the project names. Let's try to check it for the employee details data, and let's try to create something over it and try to delete it. Okay, so for it, I'm going to create a new sequence, delete. So let's say if a particular employee is resigning in an organization, so we wanted to delete the record for that particular employee. So resign employee details. Okay, how we can do that, let's check it out. So I'm going to first perform a query. Why? Because I wanted to get the employee details first. Okay, so I want to perform a query. So let's go to the employee details and see the data. So here I have Monica. Okay, so I wanted to perform a query where the employee name contains or equals Monica. Okay, so this will return me the list of the values wherein the employee name is Monica. Okay, so I would say okay, and this will give me the employee name, or I would say resigned employees. This will give me the list of all the employees that have resigned. So in this case, let's say I have given Monica. So in some other cases, we can just fetch it by using any other data field where let's say I have updated the column using resigned or something. So I can just mention that value and I can get the list of all the values. So if you just click over here and see, this is a list of the employee details, just like the ones we have seen in the previous videos. Okay. And now what I'm exactly going to do, I wanted to delete. So if I pull the delete, we know that it needs a record ID. So how can I get the ID? Let me get this particular activity here, get entity record by ID. So what record I need? This is the ID that I want, right? So in the design employees, what I'm going to do, I'm going to take the first employee. Let's say if I'm doing a looping, then you can keep a counter value here. But as of now, I'm fetching only the first value and I'm giving the ID. Okay, so what is the output records that I'm getting? So it will give me the ID of the resigned employee. ID of the resigned employee. Okay, so that employee name I'm passing over here. So perfect, right? So dot ID. Okay, fine. So this will delete the record for that particular employee. So let's execute this and see. If you want a step-by-step execution, I can just put it over here. But we have already seen in the previous video, that's how it will fetch. But let's see. So here I'm getting the values from the resigned employees. So it will give me based on the query condition, which is Monica, right? So here, if you just observe, what is the name of the employee? Here we should be able to find, or else you can just give as an employee dot employee name. Sorry, employee name. It is Monica, right? So I'm not able to find it here. It is okay. So I got the employee name, and from that I wanted to fetch the value of the ID. Okay, so how can I do that? I'm using get entity by record. So here the ID resigned employee will be the whole value of it. So from this I am passing only the ID. Okay, dot ID. So this is the ID of that particular employee. So just come over here and see, this is matching, right? 2263. Yeah, this is the one. So after executing this particular activity, it has to delete the record for that particular employee. So let's execute this and see. Okay. And let's go over here and then refresh it. We can see that the name of the record for that particular employee has been deleted. This is perfect, right? So now this is how we can delete. The previous one we couldn't do because we have seen a error message saying that we had some field which is tied to that particular entity, right? So this is how you can use delete entity record activity. So by this we have finished all the activities that are there under entity records. So let me show you. Under data service, we have entity records. These are the different activities. So we have seen the use cases, examples, how we can do, how we can update, delete, get, query, and everything around all these things. So if you're new to this video and watching my channel for the first time, I would suggest you please watch all the videos before to this. So that will give you enough understanding of what are these activities and how we can use. So going forward, we will see how we can do a bulk uploads using batch files, and also the file uploads, delete, and creation using the file activities. So that's all in this video. Thank you so much for watching. I will see you in the next video. Do not miss any of my videos. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel, and also if you find this video useful, do hit the like button.